Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Well, was keeping you up to date with players that were linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal because the window shut yesterday at 5 o'clock and that is it. Business over. I'm going to get into in a minute all the players that Arsenal signed and all the players that went. But just to remind you that regarding the transfer window this year, it was all changed because the Premier League clubs felt that they don't like the fact that the window's still open and the season starts and, you know, there's lots of uncertainty regarding players. Now, you would have heard the interview I did with John Smith the other day, and he was saying that it's all going to fall into line that all the other teams around Europe will be doing the same probably from next season. However, the window's not shut in the other leagues at the moment. So the window's not shut in the Bundesliga, it's not shut in La Liga. So those clubs can still buy players and could still buy a Premier League player. They could still say, come in and buy an Aaron Ramsey. But we can't buy any players. None of the English Premier League clubs can buy all loan players now that the window is shut. So that is it for Arsenal until January. What we've got is what we've got. Although we could lose players if, say, you know, a club came in from abroad and wanted to buy or wanted to loan one of our players, but we can't do the other, do it back the other way. What have you guys made of the window? Let me just run through the signings first of all. Starting off with Bernd Leno. Leno brought in goalkeeper from Bayer Leverkusen. The fee's said to be undisclosed, but we understand it's around about the £20 million mark. Leno comes pretty highly rated and, you know, figured in pre-season. Didn't really have a lot to do in the pre-season games I saw him in. But you can see already that he's a player that is very comfortable with playing the ball out from the back and distributing it. A really modern type of goalkeeper. He was signed by Arsenal. Next signing, Stefan Lichtsteiner. Lichtsteiner signed from Juventus on a free transfer. It didn't cost Arsenal anything. Right back who comes in with a lot of experience. Played in the game the other day against Lazio, and I liked the feistiness of him. You can already see that he's going to be a good addition to the squad. Will add a lot of competition to Hector Bellerin. We also signed a defender, Socrates, from Borussia Dortmund. Again, the fees undisclosed, as Arsenal always like to do it, but it's said to be round about the £19 million mark. Socrates, 29, so not a spring chicken, a bit like Lichtsteiner, who's well into his 30s. But again, another guy that's going to bring a lot of experience to Arsenal. He's a no-nonsense centre-back, tough tackling. I remember speaking to a correspondent from Germany over there at the World Cup, and he said, what you get with Socrates, he goes, he's just no-nonsense. You know, he's hard tackling, he doesn't mess about. Maybe he's not the quickest in the world, but the guy said he's a very capable defender. He thinks he'll fit into the Premier League very well, but he did warn me to expect lots of yellow cards from Socrates. That is the nature of how he plays. The other signing that we made, Lucas Torreira, he came in, again, undisclosed fee is what Arsenal was saying, but we being told it's around about the £26 million mark. Signed from Sampdoria. Also played for Uruguay in the World Cup. Looked excellent in the World Cup. Looked just what we need. He's a defensive midfielder. But a defensive midfielder that is very tenacious, very similar in his style of play to an N'Golo Kante and his stature, but also very skillful as well. He's a very good passer of the ball. When he played for Sampdoria, he used to take free kicks. He used to take corners. He was doing that for Uruguay as well. A very, very good player indeed. Said to be one of the best signings that we've made. And the final signing we made was Matteo Guendouzi from Lorient in France. Signed for around about £8 million. Again, in pre-season, this kid has looked absolutely brilliant. And definitely one for the future. He's still only 19, but, you know, sort of continuing on in that tradition of Arsenal signing players at a young age that really can come in and really, really do a good job. Let me run through some of the players now that went out. Just to say that when I add up our spend on the players we bought, roughly, because I don't have the full figures because it's undisclosed, but roughly we spent about £73 million, right? That's what we spent. Players that went out, quite a lot of players went out of Arsenal this summer. Santi Cazorla on a free transfer to Villarreal. Of course, he was just training with Villarreal at first, but now they've signed him on a year's deal. So Santi Cazorla will be really, really missed. Pierre-Emerick retired. Jack Wilshere to West Ham on a free. This was a controversial one. We didn't manage to tie him down to a new contract. Jack Wilshere wanted to play week in, week out, and he decided to move on. He moved on a free. Callum Chambers to Fulham on a loan, a year's loan. A really strange one for me, especially considering the fact that we didn't get a replacement for him on deadline day. Strange, really strange. Does it mean that Unai Emery doesn't rate him? I don't know. It was such a strange transfer to me. But Callum Chambers on a loan, 1 year loan deal to Fulham. Lucas Perez, he moved to West Ham on deadline day for £4 million. That was no surprise that he was going to be moving. We were thinking he was going to be moving abroad at first, but he moved for £4 million. Chuba Akpom, he went to PAOK, as I kept getting reminded, I was saying that wrong. Undisclosed fee, said to be round about the £2 million mark. Chuba Akpom moving on to over there in Greece. Jeff Rennie Adelaide went to Angers, undisclosed fee, said to be round about the £900,000 to £1 million mark. Sad to see Jeff go, but Jeff moved on. And then some of the other ones, Chiori Johnson went to Bolton on a free. Vlad Dragomir was released, very surprisingly, because was seen as a real top prospect, but he was released. Takuma Asano, remember him, who we signed from Stuttgart, right? He hasn't played for Arsenal yet. Sorry, we didn't sign him from Stuttgart, but he was on loan at Stuttgart last season, but we signed him. He's been here for a couple of seasons, still hasn't played for Arsenal. He's moved to Hannover 96 in Germany on loan. Alex Crean release, Ryan Huddart release, another surprise there. Tafari Moore went to Plymouth on a free. Aaron Iyomi went to Derby on a free. Hugo Keto went to Brighton on a free. Mark Bowler went to Blackpool on a free. Kelechi Enwakali went to Porto on loan, another loan move for him. And Matt Macy, the goalkeeper, went to Plymouth on a loan move. So if I kind of do some adding up here, take away what we sold, which is roughly about 7 million, and what we spent, roughly about 73 million, we probably spent round about the £66 million mark on players this transfer window, which not a lot really, not a lot of money, especially when you look at some of the spending. Look what Everton has spent. Jeez, look at Fulham. You know, lots of clubs spent a lot more than Arsenal. But looking at the transfer business that we've done, I'm going to look at the positives first. Positives were we did our business early. We've all been used to, as Arsenal fans, doing everything lastminute.com, rushing around, panic buys. Look at the Lucas Perez thing. We bought him for £17 million, sold him yesterday for £4 million. Panic buy, didn't fit, was wrong. So we didn't do that this year. We were prepared. The other positive is we bought players for the positions that were required. We needed a goalkeeper. Leno's come in. All of a sudden, Czech stepped his game up. So, you know, we needed that keeper. We got that keeper. We needed a defender. We got a defender. We needed a defensive midfielder. We got that. Guendouzi's been positive. So, again, really pleased with that business. Lichtsteiner's another positive. We brought a lot of experience into the team. The team sometimes lacked a bit of experience. We brought a bit of wily old players in, Lichtsteiner, Socrates, into the squad. So those are some of the positives with what Arsenal have done. And Lucas Torreira, I think, is going to be a massive positive. We needed a defensive midfielder for so long. Now we've got one, and a very good one at that. Negatives, Aaron Ramsey hasn't signed a new deal yet. Hopefully it can still get done. There's still time for this deal to be signed, but we just don't want him running down his contract. Danny Welbeck, he didn't sign a new deal yet. He's got less than a year left as well. What's happening with him? Is he signing a new deal? Or is this going to be another guy who's going to be able to run his contract down and walk away for virtually nothing? We virtually make no money off of him. Or could he be sold abroad? I don't know. But those are a couple of the negatives. Also, we moved out Callum Chambers, but we didn't get a replacement in on deadline day, which just mystifies me. You know, we've kept the 2 youngsters in Mavropanos, as correct pronunciation, and also Rob Holding. But if you ask me, out of those 3, I would have more sent one of those 2 out on loan and kept Chambers, because Chambers, especially when playing alongside one of the more senior players in defence at Arsenal, has looked good for me. And also he's a guy who can fill in at right back. I'm very surprised at this whole Chambers going out on loan thing. But listen, the manager knows what he's doing on this. Positives also the manager. You know, don't forget that's probably our biggest signing of the summer. Getting in Unai Emery. Unai Emery coming in and, you know, looked positive so far in pre-season. And if he's the biggest signing for me. Because if he can get the best out of certain players, Aubameyang, Lacazette, look at the quality up front we've got. If he can get the best out of Ozil, Granit Xhaka, you know, Bellerin, these players that have underachieved under Arsene Wenger in recent years. If he can get the best out of them, we've already got a very, very good squad, and we've just added in the positions that we needed. So those are the positives. Negatives for me, as I said, the Ramsey thing, also the Welbeck thing, but also the fact that we didn't get a winger. I still think we need an out-and-out winger. We were linked with Ousmane Dembele. It would have been really difficult to have done that deal. We were trying to do it as like a loan deal. Arsenal were definitely talking to Barcelona, but that didn't work out. So that's a negative. There was also other targets like a Leon Bailey or, you know, maybe a Zaha we could have went and got. We didn't. I think we should have got an out-and-out winger. Maybe we might go back in again in January and look for that type of player, see how we get on at the moment and go back and look at that. And as I said, the Chambers situation, I think we should have brought in another centre-back. We were looking at Vida. That one didn't happen. Apparently, Besiktas didn't want to deal for less than big money. Arsenal weren't prepared to pay that for Vida. Again, maybe that could be a situation that we go in and get that done in January. Also, maybe it could be that Koscielny might be coming back quicker than we think. We don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But a couple of negatives for me. There was also the Kroenke thing coming in the middle of it. Just before the end of the window, him taking over 100%. I suppose that's a separate subject, but that put a little bit of down on the window. But I've got to say, overall, I think it was quite a positive transfer window. But I really want to know what you guys think out of it. Think about it. How do you rate the transfer window? I'd love to see your comments. I'm going to run a poll on it as well. Do you think it was good, average, or you just thought it was poor? I'd really love to hear from you on it. But that is it. That is the business done. Transfer Daily is complete. DT was saying to me yesterday, am I going to do a loan daily? No, I'm not. Right. If any loan moves happen, we'll update you on that. There is, of course, loan moves that can still happen. I mean, Ospina, for instance, still could move on loan before the end of August. And there's still a couple of other players that could, you know, Joel Campbell, people like that, who could be on their way out on loan that could still happen before the end of this month. But of course, as I said, we can't buy players, we can't loan players now until January. The window is shut. Listen, thanks for watching the show today. And I really want to thank everybody who's watched all of the shows right throughout the summer. We've tried to keep you updated as much as we can, sift through all the rumours that have been out there. We've had an unprecedented amount of people watching the show throughout the summer, and the comments have been brilliant. I've loved the fact that you guys have really been sending in your comments. It's been great to be reading those every day and the varied views of all the fans. Keep those coming. And now is starting the real thing. The real football season starts. Man City on Sunday. Looking forward to that. Make sure you get involved with all of the content here on AFTV. We're going to have unprecedented coverage of Arsenal over this season, especially on match days. You're not going to get a better coverage than you get here. So make sure you check it out. Thanks for watching the show. We'll be back in January.